on Around Kansas, Deb joins us from the Fort Wallace Museum. See what great events are coming up in the area. Next in our wildlife, it's all about the badger. Then on the front porch, the talented Gable is our guest. Then Ron Wilson is honoring the draft horse, and it's been 2 years since Frankie C's passing. So today we end with a great story that he did a few years ago about Buffalo Bill.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Good morning, I'm Deb Goodrich. Welcome to Around Kansas. No co-host this morning. Miss Pris is back in school. And I want to thank my dear friend Michelle Martin for filling in last week while I had no voice. Yes, I know a lot of people were very, very happy, but I'm telling you, it was a struggle, people. So not quite in full form this week, but it's a little bit better. And I know you really enjoyed having Michelle host the show. So much going on. I'm at the Fort Wallace Museum this morning, and of course we're getting ready for events on March 13th. Captain Keogh's Emerald Banquet will be that evening, and we have a terrific symposium going on Saturday morning, and Joanne Van Coveren will be here, our friend Mike Bond. Marla Mackin has written a terrific Reader's Theater piece on the town of Sheridan. So we will be exploring how the Santa Fe Trail and the Smoky Hill Trail, the relationship between those two historic trails, which is pretty incredible. As the Kansas Pacific Railroad moved westward, the Smoky Hill Trail becomes a de facto piece of the Santa Fe Trail. All that freight that is being hauled on the railroad would be offloaded at Hayes, at Ellsworth, at Sheridan in Logan County, which was the end of the tracks for nearly 2 years while the railroad reorganized. And they would pick up at different pieces of the trail. So from Sheridan, for example, the freight was offloaded and taken to Fort Lyon in the Colorado Territory. And so this makes the Smoky Hill a piece of the Santa Fe Trail. Smoky Hill Trail Association, I got to put in a plug for them too. Their conference will be in Abilene this fall, and just a terrific organization. I happen to be vice president. Ken Cole is president, and I am vice president of that august group. So I would invite you to check them out. Always great information and a lot of things going on. Of course, marking the trail is a big piece of their purpose, but keeping the trail history alive is certainly in there. Got something else I want to share. March 6th, which is in a couple of days, the tickets for the Flint Hill Symphony will go on sale. And the theme this year will be the Santa Fe Trail because of the 200th, and I will be there. I will be a tent host. Looking forward to that. As you know, they always have great entertainment and lots of speakers and wonderful information and a wonderful setting out there in the Flint Hills. So it's going to be a terrific event this year. Of course, Symphony in the Flint Hills canceled the last couple of years because of weather and then COVID. So really looking forward to once again celebrating incredible music and some incredible scenery and some incredible history. So hope you'll take advantage of that. I will be talking a little bit later in the show about the 175th birthday of my heartthrob, William F. Cody. So you can look forward to more on Buffalo Bill. Any chance to mention Buffalo Bill is an opportunity that I do not miss. So glad to have you with us this morning. Stay with us. We've got a great show.
Howdy, I'm Seth Hayes, and welcome to my hometown, from then to now. Council Grove has a rich history as deep as the prairie tall grass. Spend the day visiting 25 historic sites or explore the unique shops and restaurants, or mosey out of town along the Santa Fe Trail. You all visit my hometown, Council Grove, in the heart of the Flint Hills.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
In our wildlife segment this morning, we want to talk about badgers because we have a very significant badger story here at the Fort Wallace Museum. When President Roosevelt came through, 100 years ago now, he was gifted with a baby badger from a little girl in Sharon Springs. And so we tell that story here at the museum, and now we have a badger to go with it. We have a little stuffed badger in the back, and that helps us interpret that story for the kids. So badgers I find incredibly interesting creatures, and I have a personal sighting. Occasionally they hide really well, but occasionally one will pop out. So let's take a look at that reclusive badger.
Ah, the kindly badger from the wind in the willows. But what of the real badger? Are they as warm and fuzzy as Mr. Badger? Well, if they were, would schools choose them for a mascot? The badger is the largest terrestrial member of the weasel family in Kansas, often weighing 15 to 20 pounds. It has a broad and flattened body and short, powerful legs, and it's not often one is found wearing slippers. Its large forefeet are webbed and equipped with long, curved claws. Distinct black and white markings define the badger's face, and it has a grizzled gray body with black legs and feet. The badger's size, strength, and aggressive retaliatory behavior make it a formidable opponent for most potential predators, and have earned it the reputation as one of our fiercest mammals. The badger is physically well equipped for a lifestyle that revolves around digging. Badger dens or burrows are conspicuous, consisting of a large mound of dirt piled around a 10 to 12 inch diameter hole. It digs in search of prey, but also digs to build dens in which to bear young. 3 or 4 young are usually born in April or May. Solitary except during July and August when mating occurs. Even badgers with overlapping home ranges tend to avoid each other through scent marking and aggression. Badgers may range over several square miles, but significantly limit their movements during winter months. Though not true hibernators, they will remain denned for several weeks or more during periods of extreme cold, when excavating prey from frozen ground would burn more calories than could be gained. The badger's diet consists mainly of underground dwelling rodents or other small mammals that can be dug out of their nest or burrow systems. The badger uses its keen sense of smell to locate prey, then digs a series of holes until the prey is restricted enough to be captured. Badgers prey upon prairie dogs or ground squirrels, pocket gophers, mice, and voles. Rabbits, birds, eggs, insects, reptiles, and amphibians are also taken opportunistically. The badger's foraging activity proves valuable for many species of wildlife that lay claim to unoccupied badger dens, and the rodent control provided by badgers is often beneficial to man. However, the large holes left behind provide a minor threat to livestock and farm equipment, and badgers can be very destructive in alfalfa fields where dense rodent populations often exist. As a result, they are viewed unfavorably by many farmers and ranchers. The badger has been of minor importance to the Kansas fur trade in recent times, though pelt prices have more than doubled over the past 2 seasons. Annual harvests of 800 to 1,000 have been typical. Although badgers can be hunted, This is not usually an effective means of harvest or management. Nearly all harvested badgers are trapped, either at den entrances or incidental to coyote trapping. Ah, Mr. Badger in a coyote trap. That's a tragic chapter missing from The Wind in the Willows. Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
This segment brought to you by Bob Schwartz Financial. Values, commitment, transparency.
Today on Around Kansas, we're going to visit with a Nashville recording artist, Gabe Walsh, who grew up in Blue Rapids, Kansas, with no thoughts of being a country music artist.
Music was never something I thought I would actually do for a living. Before high school, you know, every kid, their dream was sports. That's all we did. Me and my friends have played every sport you can think of. And eventually that stayed the same through high school. But once I got into college, that's when I really picked up a guitar and used I've always had a passion for music, but never to actually perform music, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's been an interesting journey in that regard.
Were you involved in band or anything during school?
I was.
Okay.
I was a trumpet player in high school.
Okay. But had not.
I never did the choir or anything like that.
Gotcha.
I was in band 4 years.
And so you had never played a guitar, or you fiddled around with one, or literally college was when you first picked it up?
College was the first time. One of my buddies, Lucas Brooks, I used to be in a duo with him back home, and he's been writing some songs and playing guitar, and I got into the idea. I was like, I want to do that, you know. So I picked it up. I learned on YouTube.
Okay.
And I just started playing small town bars in Nebraska. I went to college at Wayne State College in northeast Nebraska. And eventually came home, played some shows, and I did that for a couple of years and decided in my last semester of college that I was going to move to Nashville after I graduated. So,
wow. Blue Rapids native and graduate of Valley Heights High School, and now Nashville recording artist based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Gabe Walsh on Around Kansas.
I'm Bob Schwartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Schwartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Schwartz Financial, values, commitment, and transparency.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
I'm a big fan of the cow horse, the quarter horse as a working cow horse, but there was another equine that was very important in the settlement of the West. This is a poem about the draft horse. He's the workhorse of the species who pulls the heavy load. He can haul a load of freight or a wagon down the road. He is mighty. He is tall, perhaps 19 hands high. He has a build for pulling and is willing to comply. He is a strong and gentle giant, and when harnessed with a mate, has ability to pull a huge amount of weight. In the history of our nation, his massive feet, shoulders, and bone pulled the wagons and the plows from which our nation's grown. Now the engine and the tractor have come to take his place, but some people have preserved them, a memory time will not erase. These horses and their purpose we want to reinforce. So today we pay tribute to the mighty draft horse. Happy trails.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Folks, I have minions all over the place that really help me put this show together and keep me up to date on things. So my friend D.K. Clark in Leavenworth sent me the Leavenworth Times with this article on Buffalo Bill's 175th birthday and how the Carroll Mansion Museum has an exhibit about him. Now, this may have only been up through February. DK, get this to me a little earlier next time, please. And he sent me these beautiful cards. Isn't that nice? But the Carroll Mansion has a lot of information on Cody, terrific books on sale in the gift shop about Cody, and they have a lot about how the community was related to the Codys and, you know, the interaction between a lot of the folks there. So, worth checking out the Carroll Mansion. And happy birthday. Happy 175th birthday. Still hot after all these years to William F. Cody. So I wanted to share the sweet story that Frank did a couple of years ago in tribute to Buffalo Bill.
And we're back again. So, you know, it is interesting. The next story is about Buffalo Bill, but it's also interesting how he got the name. And so that's in the story, so I really won't give it away. But it is interesting that in the West, as it was being built, all of these characters got, you know, nicknames and what have you. And so anyway, that's what the story is going to be about.
Speaking of nicknames, of course, the guy that he met was Medicine Bill Comstock, and medicine meaning superstitious, not like a doctor, but you know, medicine as in
big medicine.
Yeah, right. So it's more like superstition. My favorite nickname in the West, though, is Buffalo Chips White. And one time, Phil Sheridan, I can't stand Phil Sheridan, but anyway, he was interviewing scouts, and Buffalo Bill was out of town. He was back in Rochester or wherever doing a big show. So he was out of town, and so Charlie White was like Bill's shadow, and he dressed like Bill, he wore his hair like Bill, everything. So he goes in to see Phil Sheridan, and Sheridan, in his usual diplomatic way, said, "Who the devil are you?" And he said, "When Buffalo Bill is not here, I am Buffalo Bill." And Sheridan takes one look and said, "Buffalo Chips, more likely," except he didn't say chips. And when the press reported it, they used the word chips, you know, to make it politically correct for families to read. But that nickname stuck with him for the rest of his life. Buffalo Chips. It's probably on his tombstone. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what we need to do too, of course, Bill Cody. His name was William Cody, but so many of these guys, for some reason, took on the name Bill.
Like
it was
Wild
something
Bill.
some Wild Bill, and
yeah,
of course
whose name was James. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll look into that.
We'll look into that. Yes. Thanks, Bill.
That's okay, Billy. Let's see it. From 1867 to 1868, the Kansas Pacific Railroad was being built in the heart of buffalo country. From points west of Hayes, hostile Indians were a challenge to providing fresh meat to the railroad workers. The railroad employed experienced hunters to supply the meat. William F. Cody was one of those hunters. Riding his favorite buffalo horse Brigham, and with the aid of his 1866 Springfield rifle named Lucretia Borgia, a .50-70 caliber gun, Buffalo Bill fulfilled his contract with the railroad as far west as Sheridan. This was the inspiration for the Buffalo Bill bronze sculpture located just west of 2nd Street on U.S. Highway 83. Twice life-size bronze sculpture by Charlie and Pat Norton of Leoti was voted one of the 8 wonders of Kansas art. It commemorates the 1868 contest between Cody and William Medicine Bill Comstock, where the winner earned the name Buffalo Bill. At the Visitor Center, the Wild West Historical Foundation tells Cody's story and that of the legendary hunt. Read the storyboards, listen to the radio story recounting the historical contest, and take pictures in the Buffalo Bill, Annie Oakley, and Sitting Bull cutout figures. When visiting the sculpture, be sure to stop inside the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center. There are exhibits, an extensive gift shop, and facilities to host your own historic events. So whether you stop in Oakley for a day or for a lifetime, you'll be glad you did. Stop for the legend, stay for the day.
Thank you so much for sharing your morning with us. Have a great week, and I'll be seeing you somewhere around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.